in the period of time since we were last together, citizens of Maryland have really been crying out for help to stem a tide of violent crime, and it's been throughout our communities, a tide of violent crime perpetrated largely by repeat offenders, many times using illegal guns. We know the headlines. We've seen them. You can choose to try to explain it away or ignore it. But we've had murders and shootings. We've had carjackings and other types of really violent offenses, many times involving firearms. But once again, this General Assembly is not rushing to deal with the people causing those problems. Once again, the General Assembly is looking to pass restrictions on somebody else, someone else, anyone else to distract from what's happening. And what we're doing with this bill is we're punishing and trying to restrict people who have basically just exercised their Second Amendment rights as law-abiding citizens. It's not easy to get a permit in this state. It is not easy. You undergo a background check, which I totally support. You have to be trained. It's an expensive process to get an HQL for a handgun permit. It's not even really very accessible to people in this state, in certain parts of the state, because of the hurdles. And it's sort of this relentless focus on Washington, D.C. progressive political priorities. It's really doing a disservice to our state and to our citizens. And on the one hand, in this body, we're saying, when we've talked about protecting another right, it was called, that doesn't actually appear in the Constitution, it's in the penumbras of the 14th Amendment. This right is an actual spelled out right in the Constitution. But the second a glimmer of freedom for a law-abiding citizen was available, in the face of all the things we have going on in our state, with violent crime being committed by repeat offenders, we'll get this bill on the floor real quick. It's a bill on the floor to crack down, to tighten up. This bill should just be a very simple bill repealing what was found to be an unconstitutional statute, and instead we're engaging in this theater where it's now going to have to be taken to court. And make no mistake, this is going to meet, I believe, a fiery end by the court. They're not going to hold it. They're not going to hold it to be constitutional, in my view. I would just ask you to sit here to vote on this. Find me a notable crime in Maryland committed by someone with a concealed carry permit. You won't find, and I don't mean a speeding ticket. Find me a notable crime. I'd love to see one. You won't find it. But we have a lot of notable crimes that are happening and are not being caused by permit holders. Mr. President, I would say enough is enough. We ought to be encouraging law-abiding citizens to exercise their Second Amendment rights in a safe, responsible way. So I would encourage the body to vote no on this bill. Let's get the focus where it needs to be. Thank you, Mr. President.